We are interested in the unity of spirit. And I would go to the good book to learn about the unity of spirit. The great book that we read and know about. The book that I would tell you is the foundation of everything, of Western civilization, our culture, and then American civilization. And in that good book, the Bible, we know about Genesis, the very first chapter. And in verse 27, right there on the first page, we hear and learn that God made man in his image, made man and woman in his likeness. And I will tell you that this principle, this understanding is truly what separates the West from the rest. That emphasis on the individual, on the divinity, that spark of divinity within each individual is what has paved the way for American and Western greatness. All of the accomplishments and achievements of Europe and then America in culture and music and art and literature and science come because we have that belief in the sanctity of the individual. So it is important to remember how it all comes about, how that works. And so we place great faith in those immortal words. And we are strengthened by it. That the individual has liberty, has protections, is sanctified again by a spark of God within him. And therein lies so much behind our great success and all the achievements, really unlike any other part, any other continent, any other civilization, and certainly here in America. We move through time, across the continents, across the oceans, to a then British colony known as Pennsylvania. In the city of Philadelphia, and we remember those immortal words that were written by our founding fathers, by Thomas Jefferson, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with inalienable rights, rights that cannot be taken away, of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is a unique statement, and it defines this nation. And again, it speaks to that truth in Genesis of each individual having a spark of divinity. They use different words to express the same idea. But that belief is what again has led to the greatness of this country and all of the achievements. We understand the imperfections and the efforts that had to be made later to correct some imperfections that still existed, that held us from fulfilling the message of those great words penned by Thomas Jefferson. We then move to a great American martyr, the second inaugural address by Abraham Lincoln in March of 1865. Many consider this to be the greatest inaugural speech ever given, and it's truly worth reading. And so there he stood about a month before the end of the Civil War, and about a month or so before his own assassination. our great martyr for the cause. But he said, with malice towards none and charity for all, we shall bind up the nation's wounds. So this was spoken as the Civil War, our bloodiest conflict, was coming to a close. And the message was obviously not one of anger or a desire for retribution. This amazing man who spent early years in Indiana was seeking reconciliation, was seeking the unity of spirit that would move us forward, away from the war, and towards, again, a great union, to bring the two sides together. We move forward almost 100 years, almost exactly, to another great American hero and martyr. And that was in 1963, the famous "I Have a Dream" speech. And he said those words, and I'll take just a small part of it. But he spoke those words on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. That great man, that other great martyr. And he said that he longs for a time that we will live in a land where his 4 children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but on the content of their character. Amen. And this is a great American promise, that we see each person as an individual endowed with a spark of the divine. And I will tell you that understanding, that message and belief is what separates America from the rest, the West from the rest, but especially America. That belief in the individual, that we are not seen as members of a tribe or a clan or a race or this or that, but always as an individual endowed with those inalienable rights, made in the likeness and image of God. We cannot do better than that message. We should hold to that message and believe in it. So I think that there are many other great examples, but I use these 4 moments from the Bible to the founding, to Lincoln, and to Martin Luther King in 1963 with his great "I Have a Dream" speech, as the 4 nodes through history that carry forth this belief and message of the unity of spirit and the belief in the sanctity of the individual. This is the highest message that we must always hold to and believe and defend. Again, not members of a tribe or a clan or a race and so on, but as individuals touched by the divine spark. We cannot do better than that. My friends, thank you and God bless.
Wow.